A couple of days ago, we celebrated Palm Sunday, and there is something in that story that has always struck me as a very important principle, and that is this. As Jesus was getting ready to go into Jerusalem, he sent his disciples on a mission to procure a donkey for him to ride on, and he gives them this instructions. Go into the village ahead of you. As you enter, you will find a colt tied on which no one has ever sat. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, why are you untying it? You shall say, the Lord has need of it. So those who were sent away went and found it just as he had told them. As they were untying the colt, its owners said to them, why are you untying the colt? They said, the Lord has need of it. And the next sentence says, they brought it to Jesus. So apparently for the owners of this animal, just the words, the Lord has need of it, were enough for them to relinquish their property, for them to relinquish what they had a right to keep. And as I think about that line, the Lord has need of it, it causes me to think, how do I respond when I know the Lord has need of something that I have? Now, of course, in the big sense, God doesn't need anything that we have. He doesn't need our service. He doesn't need our resources. He doesn't need our time. But he has chosen to work through us. And so there are things for which he needs us. And I have to examine myself to think, is my attitude, if the Lord needs it, then it is his. In relation to this story, there is a quote by Corrie ten Boom, where she was asked one time, is it difficult for you to remain humble with all of the things that you do for the Lord? Is it difficult for you to remain humble? And she said this: when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday on the back of a donkey, and everyone was waving palm branches and throwing garments on the road and singing praises, do you think that for one moment that it ever entered the head of that donkey that any of it was for him? She continued, if I can be the donkey on which Jesus Christ rides in his glory, I give him all the praise and honor. See, when we are the vessels that God uses, when we are the donkey that he rides on, when we are the thing that he says, I have need, and we say, I'm yours, do whatever, use me however, then we don't seek that recognition for ourselves. We give the glory to him. God, in his goodness, chooses to allow us to participate in his work. So I would encourage us today to first of all think about how willing am I to be used? If the Lord has need of me, am I willing to say yes? Secondly, I would like us to consider, if God is using us in some area, are we being tempted to take that glory for ourselves? Are we being tempted to be prideful that God is using us? Let's remember the example of Corrie ten Boom and the example of that donkey, and give all the glory to God.